the Gen Z men at? Looking around, I don't know where you guys are. What happened? We're going to talk about it right here on the Resistance broadcast. Welcome, everybody, to the show. I'm John. That is Lacey, and we're here to talk to you about Star Wars news, what's going on with some rumors that we're going to hit in the later part of the show. And we also have a nice, stacked, cool set of questions in Will of the Force. But first, before we get into that, Lacey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Summer is over from my perspective because the kids are back at school. Kathleen's back at work. I know summer technically rides out until September 21st, but if we're being honest, Labor Day is usually the marker for it, and it's already starting to cool down here. I'm sure you've noticed.
It is, and I love it. I love the
Yeah.
cooler evenings. Big fan.
Yeah. No
A
burns,
big fan
hopefully.
of sweatshirt weather. That's like my jam.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am about to send my daughter to school this year for the first time ever, so it is a very different fall for me. Yeah, I would agree with you that once that happens, it's like summer's over.
That's
Time
it.
has come. And like I've been to a
Yeah.
couple parent meetings and the teachers are like, that's when you know summer's over. And I'm like, oh, okay, so now I'm in on it. Because before, when you don't have kids going to school, it's just kind of like, it eventually feels like fall. But yeah, they're already bringing back pumpkin spice now. Like Halloween
It's
stuff's in the store. It's
everything
it's
gets
time.
pushed up because then it's Christmas on November 1st, and then it's
I do
but
love a good Christmas decoration after Thanksgiving though.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different in
This is
my
our
house now though, because both my kids are born in November.
Oh wow. Yeah,
So I
that's
can't
a good point.
decorate until after their birthday. It's like I can't just start throwing up Christmas before they've
Yeah.
had their party.
No, you can't do that. That's crazy.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
That's why always feel bad for the kids who were born like on Christmas. But
My
um
grandma was Christmas Eve.
yeah, my brother's friend Chris was born on Christmas Eve, and they
Chris?
gave
They
him
named him Chris?
well, it gets better. So his first name is Chris, his middle name is Thomas, and his last name is Morrow. So his name is Chris Tom Morrow. It's like Christmas
That's
tomorrow.
mean.
That's why they named him.
That's so mean.
Yeah, I don't think he listens, so he's not gonna be like, Johnny, what are you doxing me on? But
Done.
yeah, but
I'm so sorry, Chris. I really feel for you. That sucks. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, but we do have a good show. Before we get to it, I know Lacey's gonna go through Patreon stuff later, but for people who are just checking us out, maybe for the first time or you're newer to the podcast, uh, subscribe to the show. Apple, Spotify, your favorite podcast app. We are everywhere. Amazon. It's free, whatever podcast app you have. But then also our YouTube channel if you're watching. How's it going? YouTube.com/@TRB podcast. You can subscribe there free as well. So you can watch the show, listen to the show, and most importantly, tell your friends. If you have friends who you know are coworkers, you're back to school, whatever, family-friendly show. Tell them about TRB. If you see a Star Wars shirt, be like, hey, check out the Resistance broadcast. It's a good time. If you like having a good time, check them out. And then they'll listen and they'll be like, hey, you were right. You are a genius. You're a good person. Let's be friends. So then it's a win-win-win for everybody, in my opinion.
Every time I wear
But
the hat and people go, love your hat, because they do it all the time. I'm
mhm.
not sure if they think it's Star Wars and they're saying awesome hat, or they think I'm like some sort of political resistance group.
we do
Um,
every once in a while get like followers, and I like check them out, and it's like very a political account, and they think they probably think we're like
because
some
I
political
remember,
podcast.
I think it was on vacation. I was wearing the hat around because it was hot out, and I didn't want to get my face sunburnt. And this guy was like, "Love your hat," and I was like, "Cool, Star Wars." And he was like, "What?" I
Yeah,
was like,
people talk
"Never
about
mind."
this shirt and they ask me about it, jacked fish, and then I just
Yeah.
go right there, baby.
What were you talking about? Other shows?
Did you just censor me on the video? So for our audio listeners, like I buffoonly do, tongue in cheek, I flexed my arm because I'm wearing my jacked fish shirt, and Lacey went right to a title card for our other podcast. But yeah,
I totally. I
if you
just got to
if you
commercial on John.
if you do, yeah, it was like I was giving my Oscar speech and the band came on. I'm like, wait. So believe in yourself and anyway. If you do like what we do here at TRB, Bogdor. If you do like what we do here at TRB, and you also like other movies and other TV shows and stuff like that, check out other podcasts. It's the two of us, same feel, same vibe, different stuff though. That's Nerdy and Nice. It's on its own podcast app, also free, just like TRB, and also available on the TRB YouTube channel. So just look up Nerdy and Nice on Apple or Spotify. Subscribe there, free. Rate us 5 stars if you don't mind. Tell some friends, but also we do exclusive stuff on our Patreon, and Lacey will get into that stuff later. But Lacey, before we get into Resistance Report, I know you're a huge Rancor fan. I'm a Rancor fan. I'm not as big of a Rancor fan as you. Johnny has really, my son, taken to Rancors. We're playing the Lego Star Wars Skywalker game, and he's like, when can I get the Rancor? I'm like, you got to wait till you finish Return of the Jedi. He's like, oh my God, are we there yet? Are we there yet? He's like, I want a Rancor toy. So I went... his birthday is this weekend. So I went on eBay and found I didn't even know they made this, a Power of the Force Rancor with Luke in his hand. So
I was going to say I have one if you want it.
Do you have it, can you grab it right now? Is it accessible for me to look at it?
It's behind me. I can show you after we get off. It's a Rancor and the mouth opens.
Is it from Power of the Force, like a Hasbro one?
I think so.
Oh man. Well, no, I want you to have that. We all need Rancors in our lives. So I want
I know, but nothing makes me happier than giving Star Wars things to little kids.
You
and getting them into Star Wars fans.
Because I gave a bunch of stuff to my nephews when they were 5. I gave them the X-Wing. I gave them the Falcon.
Well, that's
and well, I had no thought that I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a son one day or a daughter one day, and they're gonna love Star Wars. That's not in your mind. So I'm telling you, hang on to the Rancor, because Daisy, maybe the Archman, might also follow in Mommy's footsteps in their affinity for Rancor culture.
Maybe. I did do over the weekend, my mom did a tag sale at her house, and I did get rid of a bunch of Star Wars stuff because just smart to rotate the collection from time to time. And all the stuff I sold to little kids, and every time they bought something, I would throw something in for free. And I was just like, this one kid came.
Did you give them a TRB sticker?
I did not. This one kid came, and his name was Walker. And his mom was like, oh, he's a big fan. And so I sold him a Millennium Falcon and some other stuff for real cheap, guys. Before anybody goes, oh my God, you sold it? $10. It wasn't that much. But his mom came back later that day and bought the rest of the Star Wars table because I was so nice to him. I gave him lightsabers for free. I love giving toys and Star Wars stuff to little kids. It makes me so happy because I remember being that age and how it changed my life that every time. So you're saying, hold on to it. I'm the person that would totally, and I have, it's sitting behind you. I've given you so much stuff because I get so excited when your kids get into stuff.
I have so my bins of Star Wars figures and stuff that I had, and every week or so I let Johnny pick 2 to add to his collection and stuff like that. And I'm like, make sure you keep the weapons in the safe spot. You don't lose the
the weapons are the tough part. You gotta be careful with that.
Yeah.
Some guy came to the tag sale, and I had this Luke Skywalker or something on the table because I have duplicates. And he was like, how much for this? And I gave him a decent price. And then he was like, I'll think about it. And was looking stuff up on eBay. This little kid came up and was he bought the Millennium Falcon and it didn't have any people in it. And he goes, there's no one in here. I said, here, you can have this Luke Skywalker. And he ripped it open right there. The guy was still at the tag sale, and he looked like he wanted to punch something because the kid
what Luke Skywalker was it? Power of the Force?
Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay.
Nice. But the way I saw it, it was nothing makes me happier than seeing a kid play with it. That kid, Luke's gonna go on crazy adventures, and it couldn't make me happier than sitting on my shelf.
Exactly.
Toys
better than to be played with. Lego movie taught us all that lesson. All right, let us get into our main stories, which aren't shiny happy, but we'll navigate the way we do.
We will. Let's do it.
It's the Resistance.
All right. So Variety has a report now. I'm sure other trades have covered this as well, about Disney and yet another approach moving
Mm.
forward, which um, is now claiming data is showing that Gen Z males are checked out on Disney popular IPs. That is Marvel, that is Star Wars, others. And now they're trying to put concerted efforts to bring Gen Z males back into the Disney fandom. They need those consumers. The Gen Z males have checked out. So they're seeking original IPs and new ideas to try to bring this demographic back into the fold, according to Variety's report. So this, Lacey, before I pitch to you, it wasn't that long ago, maybe even less than a year ago or so, where we heard Bob Iger saying the exact opposite thing, which is we're going to lean into these IPs and sequels. And then they announced all those Pixar sequels and stuff. And, we're going to focus on Star Wars. We're going to focus on Marvel. And now, all of a sudden, this pocket, anyway, at least for this demographic, they're saying we need new things to lure these fans back into the Disney fold. I think I know where your mind is going with this, but I'm going to throw it to you to tell the world, to tell our audience, to tell the galaxy what your thoughts are on this latest report about Disney's struggles with Gen Z males and their new tactic to bring them back.
Yeah, well, first of all, just for people to know, because I know sometimes it can get confusing. I get confused sometimes with the age groupings. So Disney leadership is calling the Gen Z demographic, which is this young men demographic of 13 to 28, is the group that they're looking to get the attention of. Now, it's interesting to me because, John, you and I have had this conversation before because we've heard from people that work at Disney, sources from inside Disney and other places, that Disney initially made the purchase of Marvel and Star Wars to attract this male audience. That was the initial intent of purchasing these things outside of just like licensing and making money and, selling lightsabers at Disneyland and stuff like that. The main attraction was that they had already locked down young girls and women and whatnot through Disney princesses and what they assumed were many kind of IPs that were popular already, like Frozen, etc., with younger women. So they were trying to think of a way to bring in these young men. So then they said, well, let's get the comic book movie and Star Wars and let's do something with that. Now, I think no one can say that, hey, that group doesn't like Star Wars, that group doesn't like Marvel, because I think that they do. The question is, do they like what Disney and Lucasfilm are currently putting out? I don't know. That's a big question mark. I would have to ask those audiences. I'm not really sure. I think they probably love Andor and they probably love certain things like The Mandalorian. I don't know if they loved the sequel trilogy. I don't know if they loved Ahsoka or other female driven stories. I would say they probably found a disconnect there that they're finding in many other types of media. That doesn't mean that they're not good stories. They're just maybe not connecting with those characters in the way that they would in previous types of media like Lord of the Rings, which is very male driven, or Harry Potter, main character's a guy, etc., etc., Game of Thrones, whatever. It's a hard audience to latch onto because they've lived through such crazy periods of time like COVID, where everything has just changed and the landscape of media has changed from movie going to streaming to only streaming, to the importance to this audience, at least, of streamers like Twitch streamers, YouTube streamers, content creators, podcasts, etc. It's difficult for people to really nail down what that audience wants. But I think that when you look at scenarios like the Minecraft movie where they were doing that stupid lava chicken thing, the chicken jockey thing,
Oh, yeah.
or like where they all dressed up to go to the Minion movie, I think these audiences, these younger audiences that are growing up in the times of now, are craving community-based situations, whether it be Comic-Cons or movie-going events or anything like that, where they can say, "Hey, I was there when this happened." And we saw a lot of that over the weekend. Not to bring it up all the time, but it's really active right now. K-pop Demon Hunters. They had these sing-along events that they sold 1.5 million tickets to, 1,000 screenings. They made almost $20 million over the weekend. There were young women in there, there were men in there were adults in there, kids in there. Everybody went and everybody said it was a great time. I saw videos, I was like, "Oh my God, FOMO, I wish I was there." There were plenty of viral posts from young men at the K-pop Demon Hunters screenings. So again, I think these younger groups are looking for opportunities to connect with others that like the same thing they do, and they haven't really had that. And since 2020 shut down everything. So they've seen repercussions of younger age groups not having the same opportunities that generations did before them, of going to school, extracurriculars, finding places to go. A lot of movie theaters and malls and stuff are closing, so they don't have these places to congregate either. So it's just driving them to meet up online, and they're still not finding the spaces there that they can meet others just like them. So I think while Disney's driving to find these IPs to win over this audience, I think they already have those IP. They already have it.
Yeah.
They just have
Yeah.
to tell better stories that connect with these audiences, or create event scenarios that everybody wants to go to. Why do you think Endgame did so great? Why do you think Barbie did so great, or Maverick, or any of these big movies that have made ridiculous amounts of money? It's because people felt like they were missing out if they weren't there.
Yeah.
That's what I would have
I
to.
I agree. I think you make great points. I will also, I mean, I like to connect dots and stuff like that.
Sure.
I think I agree completely with your everything you just said, and I'll add from my vantage point, like I think if you look at what the focus is for Star Wars right now, it's clearly the return to theatrical, which you and I have been hoping for, and we've been talking about for a while. You have Mandalorian coming out. I mean, this is our last episode of August, so September's right on the corner. It's 8 months out, for lack of a,
D23 is this coming weekend.
yeah. So there's gonna be buzz for Mandalorian, but Mandalorian was one of those shows that they were getting a strong young male response to. It also, hit everybody because of Grogu and transcending the franchise and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
then you look ahead beyond that, and when you read this article, um, if this is indeed their approach, if they're looking for other things, they're obviously also thinking about course correcting. I hate using that term, but steering these two IPs that they initially picked up for that male audience, and maybe steering some stuff back toward them. And then I look straight in the eye of Starfighter,
I was gonna
because
say that, yeah.
so there might be a reason why Starfighter has all of a sudden out of nowhere leapfrogged over, the Ahsoka Filoni movie and the Rey movie,
And it's coming
because they're
from
like,
Deadpool Wolverine
that's
team.
exactly it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine comes out last year, directed by Sean Levy. Its main demographic, statistically, I looked it up, was young men. Young men.
I mean, it's a
the
dude
movie made
film.
the movie made $1 billion. It's not a 4-quadrant movie. They were heavily putting focus and hoping that young men would go see this movie. That's what they did. That was their goal. Let's get Wolverine in. We have Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, Sean Levy directing. And now you have, all of a sudden, Sean Levy's movie gets shot right to the front of the line, skipping all these movies we saw announced in London, all of that. And what do we have? Sean Levy, the guy who did Deadpool and Wolverine, made $1 billion for the same company, directing it. He knows how to get that audience in the seats. They're like,
Absolutely.
let's
Yeah.
speed this movie up to production as soon as possible. You add Ryan Gosling. Guys like Ryan Gosling. He's funny. He's good at
He
action
was
movies.
Ken. Everybody loved him as Ken.
And women love Ryan Gosling too. So you get two birds
Yeah.
with one stone there. And then the idea that you have this, it's the main protagonist is a male, all that stuff. He's a starfighter. You're maybe like flirting a little bit with that Top Gun audience too. So it's no surprise to me that I think they're eyeing Starfighter as their hope that they pull back in Gen Z and young men into Star Wars with that movie. Now, Mandalorian should suffice that a bit for people who like The Mandalorian, but I think Starfighter is the one they're like, man, 50th anniversary of Star Wars. We got this movie. We're clearly targeting this more towards young men again. Let's hope that they deliver as our consumer, and then from there we'll see what their decision is. Like we saw their reaction to Solo not doing so well. They pivoted to Disney Plus. Obi-Wan became a show. Now it's another pivot point. If Starfighter knocks it out of the park and makes
I think it's going to.
makes like 700 million, 800 million, maybe more. I don't know. It's hard to say with the post-COVID box office, but then they'll be like, all right, Starfighter 2 or, something like that. So Starfighter is going to be one of those moments and one of those tipping points if they get the results they're looking for based on this report that they are trying to drive in 13 to 28-year-old males. I think that's the one. So I think they really are putting a lot of their chips in the basket for Sean Levy to do the exact same thing he did with Deadpool and Wolverine, which is make $1 billion movie where most of your audience is young men. So I think that's what's going on here. It is so hard to read this article though, because it's saying they're seeking new original IPs or to create new original IPs for this audience. When to your point, you have it right there, man. Like,
it's right there. Yeah.
Yeah, you have Marvel.
You've already done
and
it with
Star
Deadpool.
Wars.
Yeah.
Like imagine being like you're starting fresh and you're starting this target to get these people in to buy your product, and they're like, we're gonna give you a head start. We're gonna give you all of Marvel and we're gonna give you all of Star Wars. Try to get young men to watch this. You can be like, yeah, no problem.
It is
So
interesting though, and this is kind of going into a little bit of nerdy and nice territory. We did talk about on the show recently that Paramount has basically come out and said our top 3 things are Star Trek, Transformers, and Top Gun Maverick or Top Gun franchise.
and South Park.
And South Park. Who are the demographic for those 4 things?
Yeah.
Not women. I mean, I'm not, again, this is not saying women can't like any of these things, but I'm saying like it's like me sitting here being like, what's the demographic of Taylor Swift? It's not men.
Right.
Her audience isn't men. Those things are their minority or majority audience is young men. And so it's interesting that Disney's saying this right after Paramount kind of said this stuff a couple weeks ago. There's something going on in Hollywood or in these big studios that they're saying this is an audience that's being untapped. That's not being captured, and we need to all try to get it. It's interesting.
I mean, ultimately, you and I both love Disney. We love the parks. We love the movies. We love all that. But they're about the bottom line. And if their data is showing that demographic is not keeping up with the rest, they're going to target that demographic. And that's exactly what they seem to be doing here. And I think for Star Wars anyway, I think Mando's going to be awesome and everything. But I think Starfighter is the one they're like, Sean Levy has got to replicate what he did for Deadpool and Wolverine for us. And I think that's what Bob Iger and, of course, Lucasfilm's hope is there.
I think the pitch was definitely like, this is a guy's Star Wars movie, like dudes and pretty ladies and ships. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which, you got the Matt Smith casting, you have Mia Goth casting. I'm curious when we're going to get that female co-lead and who that's going to be.
Dakota Johnson was obviously rumored, but we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So our next story is from Katie Sackhoff, her podcast. She discussed quite emotionally. I watched that whole segment to make sure we got the actual quotes and everything from it. But she revealed that playing Bo-Katan in live action, quote, broke her. And she lost her acting confidence. And she revealed that on her own podcast very tearfully. I felt bad for her. But here's the quote, just for full perspective for our audience. And so both of us can get the meat of it here. She said, Quote, I lost all my confidence after Mandalorian. All of it. My style of acting has always just been your first instinct is the right instinct. Do that. Play the reality of the situation. And I never really played a character. Do you know what I mean? I've always played 2 steps removed from myself in a sense. It always felt grounded in some part of my belly of who I was. Bo-Katan is nowhere near who I am as a human being. Her life, what she wants, I didn't understand her. As much as I understand her, I never felt her in my stomach. I never identified with her. I didn't know how to find her, and it broke me where I started doubting everything about myself. Holy cow.
The
That
pressure of Star Wars.
I was shocked to read that because I always saw it as, we looked at Ashley Eckstein. She, we heard all the stories from people behind the scenes and everything that she wanted to play Ahsoka in live action. She didn't get it. She was heartbroken, all that stuff. And then you have Katie Sackhoff voicing Bo-Katan through the Clone Wars. Then she gets the gig to do the live action thing, which was huge for her career. But then you find out what it did to her as an actor. I was so thrown by this, Lacey. What are your thoughts on this reveal by Katie Sackhoff?
It's heartbreaking to hear someone ever doubt themselves or feel like they're not good enough. I think we've all been there. Imposter syndrome is a real thing, and it hurts more than anything else when you feel like you're not measuring up to expectations of other people. This hurts for me to read. It hurt for me to watch. I really feel for her. I think that Star Wars, any major franchise, but it's definitely Star Wars, I feel like everybody that's ever worked on it or been a part of it have felt the pressure of not necessarily the fandom, but just the legacy of where the franchise has come, the importance of it, how much it matters to
Yeah.
people, and everyone wanting to do their best and play their part. So, first of all, it's just heartbreaking to hear someone that they're not good enough because I thought she was great. I've always thought she was wonderful. The other part that I really connected with her talking about her skills of acting and how she needed to connect with the character, because voice acting is very different than physical acting. So I could see how someone would be like, oh yeah, I could totally read these lines and be good and not have, but then if you're like on screen and you're blocking and you're like relating to other characters and it's how you look and how that you might not feel yourself being a part of that character. Now, we often make jokes on here and on Nerdy and Nice about how, like, oh, this actor just plays themselves, kind of like the Jason Bateman joke I made recently, where I was like, it just seems like it's Jason Bateman playing a character. So I think that's similar to this. What she's saying is like, she would always connect with the character and then add something to it or take a piece of her and then expand on that into the character. It makes it more relatable. But when you're playing someone who's like somewhat royalty from Mandalorians in space, and there's all this pressure from the fandom and setting expectations, and like they gave her this opportunity that other, as you said, voice actors did not get, the pressure just gets to you. It's so much. And leading into her playing this role, like how many times was she interviewed where they were asking about it? She was like, oh, I can't say anything. I don't know. I don't know. And then she shows up and everyone's like, oh my God, it's her. And it's like, am I good enough? Am I doing a good enough job? What's going to happen if they don't like me? Are they going to replace me? Like, what are they going to write me off? I feel bad for her, but I hope she knows. First of all, Katie, please come on TRB. You're welcome anytime. We'd love to have you. Second of all, you are amazing at what you do. And I think Bo-Katan is better because it's you. And yeah, I don't want anybody to ever feel this way. This sucks. I don't like this at all.
Yeah. So when I first read the quote, it was before I watched the clip, and it wasn't the full quote. And my initial reaction was like, yeah, but like, so many people who act in Star Wars are obviously not playing anything close to themselves. And that's including Harrison Ford. He's not Han Solo at all. Or Ian McDiarmid is the exact opposite of Sheev Palpatine. So at first I was like,
but then you have Anthony Daniels, who's literally C-3PO.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, his book is called "I Am C-3PO." So even though he wanted it to be called "Telling the Odds," which I would have liked, but so at first I was like, "Oh come on, like you're an actor, like do you only play people who are like you?" And then I step back and I'm like, John, shut up. You're not an actor. You don't know what it's like, the pressure, all that stuff. And
Yeah.
then the pressure of somebody having to look like their animated character, wear the character on their face. Not even, I'm not talking about makeup. I'm talking about wear their emotions, all that stuff. Acting in that helmet, everything that goes with it, the volume, probably, last minute red pages of dialogue, having to act with puppets. Like, it's probably a very overwhelming experience, to go from being in the booth next to Steven Stanton or Sam Witwer and doing the lines in that as a team, like together. It's I totally empathize with her and totally understand. And seeing her get emotional about it and that she lost her confidence is horrible, because no matter what you do in life, whether it's being a parent or what you do with your work or being podcasting, uh, you do lose your confidence. Or you're playing a sport. Like, one week you're on top of the world, and then even the best player in the world can lose their confidence. So
Content creation is
I
like that literally day to day. It's like you could be
that's a
having a great day and then one comment hits and you're like, wow, I'm terrible at this.
yeah. Or you
Yeah.
do things 45 times in a row correctly, but on the 46th you slip something up and you're like, I don't know how to do this. And it's so, like, it's being a human is like that is a very relatable thing about, losing your confidence, because we all lose it in some facet of our life in varying points, a lot throughout our lives. And hearing her be open about that is really cool. So I admire her for that. And yeah, I agree. Katie, like, I would absolutely love to have Katie on the show and talk to her about it if she's down for that. That'd be amazing.
Mhm.
So the only thing that makes me sad is, to me, I mean, I could be wrong. This to me sounds like she's not going to be in the movie. This sounds like this was her
Oh, you
reaction
think
to it.
she's not in the Mandalorian because
Yeah.
she's not good enough?
No, I think maybe they maybe talked to her and like thought about like put like finding a role for her in the movie. Now I do think the movie is deliberately reeling things back in, as we've talked about, and focusing more on Mando and Grogu. Whereas season
Yeah.
3, they got a little lost in the sauce because there was a lot going on with the Mandalorians, Bo-Katan, all that other stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but I could totally see, because I know like Dave Filoni obviously loves Katie Sackhoff, and I'm sure Jon Favreau, like, you never hear a bad word about him with his actors. They actually always say like he's their champion. Uh, I am sure that they would have loved to have gotten her in here, but I wonder if she pulled back, saying like, finishing up that the seasons, like, killed me. I can't go back and play this character now. I'm just putting the pieces back together to do other roles now. So I have a feeling she's not going to be in the movie.
Mm.
I don't know if that. I mean, I could be way wrong. That I'm just thinking
Or they could have
logically that
said,
might be the
this
case.
isn't, yeah, or they could have said this, you're not a part of this story this time. You're a part of
Yeah,
the
yeah. So
continuation or the next one or whatever. Like maybe,
yeah,
yeah, I didn't even consider that.
yeah,
Wow. I feel for her if that's the case. That really sucks. Like you finally get your kind of big moment to
yeah.
possibly be in something on the big screen, and
And I thought she
oof.
was great as Bo-Katan. I
I
didn't
thought she was
necessarily
great
love
too.
all the story threads or everything, but when she showed up on the scene, she looked exactly like it, like her in
That
in
throne
the
shot where she's sitting on the throne.
throne shot. Yeah, even when she
Yeah.
arrived on the barge and when she was being all badass on that Imperial ship in her first
Flying the
episode, like,
ship. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought she was great. So I didn't anything that she's revealing to us now, I want her to know as a fan, it didn't come through to me. So you
It
did a
didn't
great
either.
job,
Yeah.
Katie. And I hope she does find her confidence again, if she hasn't already. So yeah, Katie Sackhoff, we're fans here. I a
She's killing it
lot
as
of
a
credit
podcaster.
for
So
yeah, a lot of credit for opening up and revealing that, because I don't think anybody ever would have guessed that. So maybe that'll allow other actors who are struggling or going through a hard time. Daisy Ridley talked about it, how she was wrecked after some of the earlier movies she was doing. Um, so I think that's really cool of her. But hopefully we
yeah.
do see her again as Bo-Katan one day, if she's down. Our last story is kind of more funny. Lacey, I feel like Mark Hamill, now that he is, for all intents and purposes, not acting in Star Wars anymore. He does the
I was gonna
Lego
say
voices once in
free.
a while and stuff, but
He's
yeah,
free.
I think he's in that older, like old person mode where he
Old.
DGAF. You know what I mean?
Okay.
When people are older and they're like, I'm just gonna sort of like be like R2D2 and just tell you what's on my mind.
Yeah, he's
Um,
past the point of no return and caring.
yeah, so he's sharing
Yeah.
these anecdotes that maybe haven't been told in a while or haven't been told ever. And this one I thought was so interesting. And he revealed that initially when they were filming Star Wars, he was filming scenes, and the first time he mentions his name is when he goes to free Leia, and they filmed the whole scene, I guess, with him saying, "I'm Luke Starkiller. I'm here to rescue you," and they go through the whole thing, and then they came to him and said, "Mark, we have to reshoot the scenes." Uh, and he's like, "Why?" And he's like, "We're changing your last name." He's like, "What do you mean you're changing my last name? Starkiller's amazing. It's so cool." And they're like, "We're changing it to Skywalker." And he's like, "Oh." He's like, "That sounds like fly swatter. I don't want to do that." And of course, like Mark Hamill, he's like, "Boy, am I glad I wasn't in charge," you know? So, because
Yeah, yeah.
Skywalker is awesome. So, anyway, what'd you think of this story? And can you imagine in your brain, like if Lucas didn't change it and he was always Luke Starkiller?
So I would like either name. Doesn't matter to me. I think the character resonates whether it's Starkiller or Skywalker. I like Skywalker. That's what I know and love.
It's way
So I couldn't.
cooler, right?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I like the sound of it better than Starkiller. And then eventually they use Starkiller for something else anyway. But I don't know. I think Skywalker sounds more real.
Mhm.
Starkiller sounds like a fake name to me, but it does sound
Yeah,
cool. I get it. But I just love
yeah,
that Mark Hamill keeps telling these stories. Like, keep telling them. I want to hear them all.
yeah. I'm just picturing dying. Here, hold on. Dying Yoda being like, "Look, there is another star killer." Uh,
Oh, and then
doesn't work. Doesn't
yeah,
work as well. And then
suffering.
he disappears under Qui-Gon's robe, which is now his blanket, according to
I
canon.
know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, anytime Mark Hamill chimes in about stories of yesteryear, just put down what you're doing and listen because, like we always say, these actors aren't going to be around forever. These stories, if they're not recorded, are going to go to the Force realm with them. So let him speak. Let's hear all the stories as much as you can possibly give us, Mark Hamill, including this one. I love it.
100%.
Yeah. All right, Lacey, that is it for news. So why don't we get into our next segment?
I fear nothing, for all this, as the Force wills it.
You guys love it. Well, the Force is back. Hooray. So there are lots of ways you can support us, like John said at the top. You can follow us on any social network at TRB Podcasts. You can follow us on, subscribe to us on YouTube. Hello, waving at the camera. Leave us a review, comment, like, subscribe, etc. Follow us on audio platforms like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Leaving a review really lets us know how we're doing and lets people find us. It plays into the algorithm. We all love that word. So definitely share us with a friend, family, coworker, person on the side of the street, bus stop person, whatever. Let people know that we're around because we love getting new people in the community. And if you want more than that, head over to patreon.com/TRB podcasts. That's where you'll find episodes of TRB and Nerdy and Nice, as well as mini episodes, special merch, which is on the way, Discord access, and much, much more. Including, we're doing once again fantasy football this year. Can't wait to lose terribly, but I have a great name, so that's all that matters. No, we're doing that. We're doing the draft tonight, Thursday, which is August 28th,
Yep.
at 15 p.m. And we're going to be chilling out on the live stream with you guys on Patreon only. So even if you're not a part of the draft, you can come hang out with us and just chat. We're going to have some snacks.
Talk
Uh,
smack.
Talk smack, talk about things I don't know about. I'm gonna draft Travis Kelce first. We're gonna see
Mhm.
how.
Yeah, that
But
worked out last year.
yeah, terrible. He played terrible. But anyway, outside of that, you can also be part of the show by being a patron, which is where you come into Will of Force. So we take questions from you guys. Will they? Won't they? Will it not? Situations. And we answer them here. So kicking it off is a Patreon submission from a new major, Dennis Gill. What up? There's another Gill in the house.
Yes.
Dennis, you, me, got some gills.
Oh
coming.
yeah. Yeah.
He asked, "Will Ahsoka ever tell Rex that Anakin became Darth Vader after the events of Rebels?" Ooh. Part of me feels that revealing the truth would break Rex's heart given the loyalty he had to the Jedi general he served under. John, I'm going to let you kick it off. This is a great question. Dennis coming in hot for his first question.
So you have to start with wherever this would happen. Dave Filoni's writing it because it's Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Filoni's going to be writing any more animation. He's not going to be writing books and comics. So it's going to be live action. The only spot I could think this would happen is if somehow Rex gets involved in Ahsoka season 2, because I don't think he died.
I think that's the assumption here. I don't want to.
So
maybe I'm wrong, Dennis, but I'm assuming that's what you're asking.
Yeah, but with Ahsoka on Peridia, and she's gonna be going through this Mortis thing, I don't see where Rex fits in that. I could see Rex showing up in the flashback, especially if Ewan McGregor's back as Obi-Wan and all that, and Hayden's gonna be back as we know already. But that wouldn't be the time because he's still Anakin in that time. So based on where the characters are, I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think we're going to see this. I don't know. So I'm going to say no. What about you, Lacey?
I'm getting confused a little bit on my timelines per usual. Does everybody know who Darth Vader is? I know that people find out that Leia's dad was Darth Vader at some point because a bunch of people turn on her. I believe in Bloodlines. Yep. So do people know that Anakin is Darth Vader by this time? Or is it assumed that nobody knows and only Ahsoka knows?
Yeah, I don't think it's a galaxy-wide thing. So
because I'm just wondering if Rex would already know, even if Ahsoka didn't tell him or did tell him.
Yeah, I think they're sort of keeping it where Darth Vader was Darth Vader and
Anakin was a different person.
But it's not like a galaxy-wide thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say yes. Ahsoka will tell Rex, and I think Rex is rolling up in either Ahsoka or this crossover film with Filoni. I think if Filoni's looking to tie up all his loose ends with all his characters that he loves so much, this is a moment he's going to want to do. So I'm going to say
So you think Tamara Morrison's coming back?
I do.
All right. Good for him.
I do. I think it's an easy win.
Okay.
Thanks for the question, Dennis. That was great. Awesome job. Next is, will Qira appear in the Maul Shadow Lord? Being that the series takes place between the Clone Wars and Solo. # make Solo 2 happen. I added that. That wasn't in here. But go ahead, John.
It depends. So I think she will, but it won't be in season 1. I assume that they want this series to be something that can lead to a multi-season success. So I think the first season will be in the early part of that time gap. Obviously, this show, if she does appear, it will need to overlap the beginning of Solo, that 3 years, where we see Qira before she gets taken by Crimson Dawn, to then when we see her when she's the captain for Dryden Voss. So I think maybe in subsequent seasons we will. So it depends on the success of the first season. If the story continues, because here's where I'm coming from in that. Like, I think Lucasfilm, especially when they try to do these like stories that fit in between things, which that's 90% of what they've done so far, they like to leave breathing room for more. Like, they don't want to cash out fully on Maul in this era in one season. They want more time in the timeline so that if this is a success, they can do season 2 of Shadow Lord, season 3, season 4, sort of like Rebels did 1 year leading up to Yavin, So I think if season 1's a success, they'll get us closer to that era where she is in Crimson Dawn and she will appear. So I'm going to hope that it is a success, because I think it will be. So I think we will see Qira appear in Maul Shadow Lord. It just won't be in this first season that we see next year.
That's a great answer. I don't think she will.
Oh,
I think and this is not because I don't want her to.
why do you hate
Hashtag make
Qira?
solo. Yeah. Hashtag make solo 2 happen. I want more Qira. And I think we've gotten her in video games, etc. I want to see
Comics, yeah.
live action Qira come back. I don't want animated. I don't want book version. I want live action. So I'm going to say she won't because they're saving her appearance for live action. So
Oh,
no, she
man.
will not.
All right, fair.
Next up is a Patreon submission from Commander Lori. What up, man? How's it going? And he asks, will the new Maul series include flashbacks to Maul's life as a Sith apprentice? Oof, sticking on the Maul train. John, what do you think?
You go first.
I think they will include flashbacks. I think that's an easy thing to bring about the title of Shadow Lord. I think people are expecting it. I think they have to have some flashbacks to show what the character's been through, some explanation of where he is now, especially looking at general audiences that still don't fully grasp the timeline of where Maul has been and how he's not that guy that's split in half falling down the reactor in the Phantom Menace. Because my husband constantly makes a joke. It's his ongoing bit that he's like, oh, is this the one with Maul? Every time a Star Wars movie is either played or talked about or whatever, he's like, oh, is this the one with Maul? And then we sat in the movie theater and Maul showed up and I looked at him to finally get the reaction. And
What, Solo?
Yeah. And he said, who's that? So
That's ridiculous.
So to that ridiculousness, I'm gonna say there will be flashbacks because if people are looking to understand his full journey and grasp where the character has been, they need to give that background to give some more substance to the story. And I think also as a fan servicey thing, we Star Wars fans love a good Sith apprentice moment. I know John does, loves some Palpatine. So anytime you can throw Palpatine into something, I'm sure people will enjoy it. So I'm going to say they will. Great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. Thanks, Lori. Good answer too. I understand exactly why you'd be looking for that. I'm gonna say no though. I think
What?
Yeah. The only reason why I think so is
Wow, the Palpatine guy saying no?
well, yeah, because the reason why is because I think this show really wants to focus on. I mean, they're probably expecting the animation audience who watched this sort of expansion of the Maul character through Sam Witwer and obviously the animation team and Dave Filoni and throughout the Clone Wars, to watch this. In addition to, hopefully other fans as well. But it's going to be the focus on this next chapter in his life, which is post-Sith. Him coming to terms with who he is now and building his criminal empire. So I think flashing back to before the prequels to show like how he became a Sith would go against their point for this series. I would love it, of course, because I think Darth Maul is awesome, and I would love to see him pre-Phantom Menace and maybe training with Palpatine or something. I just don't know how it fits in with what they're going for with this series. So while I think your answer makes total sense and it could easily happen, I'm gonna lean towards no. I don't think we're gonna get that part of his life. I'm full of surprises, like Anakin.
What was that?
Anakin. You'll find him full of surprises. And then he gets his arm chopped off a minute later.
That was a terrible Anakin. You're usually very good at the voices.
Oh, well, I wasn't doing I wasn't doing an impression.
I never thought about it like that.
Never thought about it like that before. No, but we did used to joke on this podcast about how every once in a while there's no reason for it because he's from Toronto, I think. Like there would be some New York in Hayden Christensen. Like I know the three of us, when James was on, we joked about this a few times when they were in Attack of the Clones, you know, the whole love dialogue stuff, when they're walking by the palace in Naboo. And Anakin goes, "Don't worry, we got R2 with us."
Sir, is this Little Italy? What?
Yeah, there's no reason for him to sound like that, but
Which they're
there
making
it
a
was.
second one, I heard.
No way. Really?
I heard they're making a second one. I don't know if it was a joke or not, but I did see a headline about it.
Is it going to be called Littler Italy?
I don't know. Why don't you Google that right now while I get into the next question, if they're actually doing it or not?
Oh my god.
All right, next question. Last question. Will of Force. Will the Mandalorian and Grogu gross more than Pedro Pascal's recent Marvel effort, Fantastic Four First Steps, which will finish with around 500 million globally, which is interesting. We did talk about some box office stuff this episode. It seems from, I think I was reading it on Forbes or some finance related article about box offices in general, that they're treating 800 million as the new billion for movies now. That if it like gets up to 800 million, I think Superman did, that they're like, oh, that's a billion. That's
Superman
like
got
a
to
solid,
600.
or 600.
Yeah.
But they're saying 800 is like that, the new
All right.
cusp of trying to drive, because no movies are really getting up there anymore. Which I think streaming, money, you know, a lot of factors. But anyway, John, is Little Italy 2 happening?
No, that's Fugazi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It should. Anyway.
And you know that movie came out 7 years ago already?
Wild.
Yeah.
Now I want a cannoli or some pizza or something.
Yeah, I can go for some good pizza.
Ooh, pizza. I owe you one.
You do.
I do. Okay, what are your thoughts? Box office. Do you think it will?
It will. I think the Mandalorian and Grogu will gross more than Fantastic Four. I never see. I made the
Fantastic
mistake.
Four. You didn't say
Four.
4.
Yeah. That's from my dad. I remember on Nerdy and Nice, that's my fault for not having the confidence, I guess, in DC. I had thought that Fantastic Four would beat Superman at the box office because it was Marvel and Pedro Pascal and all that. But Marvel is vulnerable, and it wasn't just because of what was it? Not Thundercats. What's the one they did? Thunder Lips?
Thunderbolts.
Thunder Lips? Thunderbolts. That was it. Yeah.
Thundercats? Thundercats. Oh.
Thunder Lips, the ultimate male from Rocky 3. You know what I'm talking about, right? No?
No.
Some of our audience does. Hulk Hogan played Thunder Lips, beat the crap out of Rocky.
R.I.P.
Anyway. Yeah, and I was wrong. And Fantastic Four actually finished probably around a little over 100 million below Superman. So go DC. But I just have faith in Jon Favreau. Like, the guy typically does not miss. I do think this is going to be a very, very good movie. And I think in a weird way, people are like, it's flying under the radar a little in terms of expectations because people are thinking it's going to be like the show. I think Favreau, like the stuff we saw at Celebration, I was already like, this is bigger. Like, there's no question about it. It's bigger. I think this movie is going to beat 500 million. I don't know if it's going to reach the new billion, aka 800 million, but I think it's going to do really well because they did a solid job with the budget on this. And I think that's the real problem with movies is budgets are just too high now. Like, you look at a lot of the great movies people still talk about from like the 80s, and even with inflation, like a lot of those movies didn't make a lot of money. And like they did really well on home video and stuff, which, you know, that's a different world too now. But I think they got to try to keep working on trying to keep these budgets down as much as they can, like below 200 million, so that if a movie like Solo doesn't need to be filmed twice, if it makes 400 million, which it did, it's still a success, and then they make another one. But I do think Mandalorian and Grogu will get around like Superman money and maybe over 600, maybe even 700 if Star Wars fans really buy into it. We talked about the demographics earlier. If the Gen Z males show up next summer to watch Mando and Grogu because they hear about some awesome action scenes or something, and then all the rest of the audiences show up, I think it's going to be in good shape. So I'm going to say yes, Mando and Grogu will top Fantastic Four, and Pedro Pascal will defeat Pedro Pascal in the box office war.
It is interesting that you know, we often discuss about box office returns, et cetera, on here. And we've talked about both angles of like why it's important because it drives what studios decide to do, or if a franchise continues on with their plans, or if, you know, like what their next steps are, while also in the same line of reasoning going, well, we don't really care about that. We just care about a good story because we're big fans. The weird thing about box offices now, which you touched on, was back in the day, which I hate saying that phrase, but back in the day
And why'd you say it
when
like that then?
I don't know, just the phrasing is weird. Anyway, the uh, home video stuff on demand, DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS, etc., would make up the gap when it wouldn't make huge box office returns. And now you have all this stuff going direct to streaming so early on, especially like Superman, that you're like, what are you doing? You should leave it in the theater. Or some movies,
Right.
K-pop Demon Hunters, that are not even doing theatrical releases. They're doing like special events for one weekend only and stuff. So it's just really weird. That being said, I definitely was one of the people that didn't think that this movie was going to do well. Fantastic Four. I was getting a vibe that I didn't think it would do well. Wasn't that excited about it. I remember saying that on Nerdy and Nice. I was like, it's nothing against anybody involved, or it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm superheroed out or something. And when faced with the choice of two superheroes, people chose Superman. People went with the new, different look, different feel, different vibe than Marvel. And I think, like you said, Marvel is facing the first steps of needing to change up their marketing, change up
Hey-o.
their the way of going about things. Because again, I haven't seen Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm sure it's a fine movie.
Yeah,
People
neither
said it
have
was
I.
fun. It was fine. But I mean, it didn't deliver, and that's a big question mark because you did have a good cast in that.
Yeah.
My point being that I think that Mandalorian and Grogu will gross more than Fantastic Four because I always thought that anyway. This question's pretty easy for me because
Okay.
I think Mandalorian and Grogu easily will fly with a jetpack past Fantastic Four due to Grogu, due to Star Wars, due to it being the first Star Wars movie in theaters since 2019, with the exception of obviously the re-releases, which have been making bank.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, people are going to go to the movies to see this movie, 100%, including myself. So it will
Oh, yeah.
easily go past 500 million. Easily.
We will be there opening day.
We definitely will. And that's it for Will It Hold
All
Through.
right. Well, before we get out of here, we're toying with an idea of adding a new segment to the show, but it's not official yet. Sometimes we do open chats to fill up time. We're already at around an hour, but there were two rumors we just want to address really quickly and give our thoughts on them because these things do spread like wildfire. And then, like we always say in this podcast, then all of a sudden you're at work or at school or whatever, and somebody's like, "Hey, did you hear this?" And you're like, "No, yeah, what?"
I've been in that position and it sucks. Can I just tell
Yeah.
you, like, being like, no, especially
we
if it's
all
like a
have.
really terrible rumor that you're like,
Yeah.
ugh, stop. No.
So, the first rumor is that Rogue Squadron is back in development. So let's just run through these quickly. Lacey, do you buy this? Do you buy that Rogue
No.
Squadron is back in the mix? No?
No. Starfighter's happening. No.
I agree. I do not agree with this rumor. I think it's fugazi. I'm saying Rogue Squadron is still on the shelf indefinitely, if not
I also
in the
don't think,
recycling bin.
yeah, I don't think Patty Jenkins is someone that people really want to work with now anyway. I think she's
Yeah,
not
and
on the
even
hot list anymore.
yeah, and even her like sort of reassurances. There was like an interview last year where she's like, "I owe them a treatment" or something like that. It's almost like it sounded like contractually she had to submit something so that she can get paid. So
I think it's not over, like it's like never happening, but I
yeah,
think it's definitely on the back burner. It's definitely on like some type of board somewhere being like,
it's
yeah,
on the
eventually
Ryan
maybe.
Johnson trilogy idea list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Starfighter, the fact that kind of usurped her, zigged out and
hmm
zagged back in front of her in line, kind of took the I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the solo thing that the gas, the
Took the wind
fuel?
out of its sails.
No, the fuel that they go after.
Coaxium.
The coaxium out of her ship. And it is no longer in first place. And if someone comes out with a movie called Starfighter, it's really hard to be like, we're going to do Rogue Squadron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we think Poe Dameron's going to be in Starfighter. So, like, what are you going to do? Because Rogue Squadron was supposed to take place after the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think it would be cool if Oscar Isaac is in Starfighter,
Yeah.
if he has a substantial role and like do the love triangle thing, like have Poe Dameron and whatever Ryan Gosling's character's name is, fighting for the affection of
No Cameron.
whoever the co-lead female is, and that's a recipe we know works in Star Wars. So, but next rumor here, Lacey. So we both said no on that. Rogue Squadron, we both think that is not happening. This last one here, Lucasfilm really wants to do a Mandalorian trilogy, assuming the Mandalorian and Grogu is a success. If the Mandalorian and Grogu is a success, not only will a trilogy be greenlit, but also more movies set in the Mandoverse will be greenlit too. Lacey, I'll start with this one. I don't think this is true. And the angle I'm coming at it from is I don't think anyone would know this far ahead in terms of forecasting this. I think Lucasfilm is being more cautious with the whole format of, we're announcing a trilogy. Like we just talked about Rian Johnson, Benioff and Wise. We have, heard the reports, and Kathleen Kennedy talked about Simon Kinberg is making a trilogy. I don't think they're in the business of multiple trilogies, and we know Simon Kinberg's not doing a Mandalorian trilogy because that would be Favreau and Filoni. I also don't think I don't know if he has 10 plus more years of wanting to do Mandalorian movies. I'm sure he has other things he wants to do. He's in his he's around 60 years old, I think. So while I agree, like these are those, I always used to talk about this on the rumor review I used to do on the channel and on Patreon. There's clever ways to put out rumors that you're like, see, I was right. And it's like, yeah, if this movie makes $1 billion, aka $800 million, they're going to be like, yeah, let's do another one. But I don't think they have a set, like they didn't establish a story where it's like, we're only going to tell this part because we have ideas for 2 more. I think we're telling this story. If it's good, we're doing another one. I think that's exactly how Disney's operating with their IPs right now. We were just talking about it earlier about what their ideas are about creating new IPs to draw young males in. If that's what they're doing, there's no way they're saying we're doing a trilogy of Mando. They've learned from those mistakes, so I don't buy this rumor. What about you?
This to me reads like someone was sitting in a meeting and someone in that meeting said, we would really like to do a trilogy if this works out. And we could even imagine other movies in the Mandoverse. Like, that would be really great, but we'll have to see how this performs. Like a casual comment in a marketing meeting or in a finance meeting or some type of production meeting. And someone took that comment out of the meeting and then spread it. That's what this reads like to me. So I don't know if this rumor, I don't know if I could say like, oh, this rumor's not true. This rumor is true, whatever. Only because to me, it seems very straightforward that like, of course, if the movie does ridiculous amounts of money, they would then make another movie. Like Disney has said that. Bob Iger has said that they're expanding on IPs that are reliable, that make them money, that have good returns, that engage the audience, that they're focusing on, storytelling and entertaining over messaging or whatever he said. That's what this quote says to me. Is like, I've been in many, many marketing meetings, production meetings, event meetings where people go, it would be great if blank happens. Then we could do this, this, and this, and this. Wouldn't that be great? And like this to me reads taken out of context wishes from someone that then are turning into, oh, this is happening. You don't know that. So in the sense of like, is it 100% true? No. Is there some truth to it? I think so, but not in the way that it's being presented.
Yeah, like inevitable truth is
Yeah.
the only, the obvious logical truth. Oh, the movie makes $1 billion. Yeah, they'll probably make another one. Yeah.
It's honestly like Chevy Chase and Christmas Vacation. If I get that bonus, I'm putting in a pool. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, are you gonna get the bonus? No, I got a Jelly of the Month club. So you're not getting
Yeah.
the pool then.
Just some
That's
jelly.
just some jelly.
And I don't
But
think
you
they're
know what I
ready for
mean?
this
Like, I
jelly.
just feel like this was taken out of context in a meeting, and then someone feels
Or
like
not
they're
at
in the
all.
in and they have to tell, or someone could have just made it up. That's true too. I'm saying I don't 100% buy this, therefore I'm not going to say it's true,
Yeah.
but there might be some truth to it. But to me, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people it's human nature to want to be in the know and
Yeah.
want to have information to pass along to other people and feel like you're the in crowd or cool or whatever.
Yeah.
I get it. I've been in those moments. We all have where you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell someone this. But like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you're stretching it a little bit, giving it a little bit more fluff,
Yeah.
adding a little bit of zhuzh to it to just, make it more important than it is. That's how I read this one.
Yeah, and look, if we hope it's successful, and we hope it's great, and if it is, we hope they make more movies. We just happen to
100%.
think the rumor's not accurate. All right, that is it. Let us know what you think about us addressing rumors on the show. You like the idea of it being in our rotation of segments?
What should we call it?
Had a new segment in a while, and we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll come up with something more like clever and witty.
So fun.
But that does take us to the end of the show. So we want to thank everybody for listening or watching and being a part of TRB. Thanks for being in the base with us. We hope you had a good time with the show, because we always have a good time making it, and you listening just means a lot to us. So as we said before, you heard all of our plugs, so we don't need to do that. But please do continue to spread the word, and thanks for however you support TRB. It means a great deal to the both of us. Lacey, where can people find you to chat about we talked about a lot tonight. To talk
We
about all
did.
this.
This was a fun one. People can find me on social media at Lacey Gillerin and at It's Lacey Gillerin on TikTok, talking about Star Wars, probably K-pop Demon Hunters because it's killing it, and I keep talking about it. And just like all the pop culture stuff, like Taylor Swift getting married, stuff like that.
Oh,
I had to bring it in here somewhere. I've been dying. I've been waiting for
Lord.
the moment because John has been like, why do people care about this?
It's not even just that. It's any like celebrity personal life stuff.
I just I had to drop it in there.
Yeah.
But no, you can find me there talking about collecting Star Wars, Luke Skywalker being awesome, all that stuff.
Yeah. For me, Johnny Hoey on Blue Sky and Twitter. Yeah, hit me up. Let's talk about all this stuff. And then, leave a comment on YouTube, or I believe you can leave comments on Spotify. There's a lot of ways you can reach us. Of course, on Patreon, we have a Discord server. And speaking of Patreon, before we get out, a quick shout out to the Generals and the Spice Runners holding it down on our Patreon. Your names must be known, and you are Generals Carmelo, John Reese, Jetta Rosewater, Frank Grande, Chris Morales, Mike Ramori, Brendan McLaughlin, Sneaky Zebra, Dave Hornack, Colin Cormier, Stephen Garrow, and Darth Snips, and the Spice Runners, David Probus, Neil Shaw, Kendall Gellner, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, the Fort Worthian, and Brian Smith, and football people on Patreon. If you're a patron of ours, you don't have to be in the league. Come hang out with us tonight, 8:15 on Patreon. We're going to have fun. Talking smack, talking football, just having a good time, maybe having a couple of drinks as we do our live fantasy football draft. Maybe we'll share a screen. Who knows? We'll see what happens, but it's going to be a good time. And if you're new to our Patreon, you have any questions, let us know. A lot of people have been joining recently, so thank you for that. If you have been thinking about it, it's a good time to join because with fall approaching, more news, the hype for Mando, a lot of cool stuff in 2026, as we know, is going to be very big year of Star Wars. So join the party here at TRB, patreon.com/TRB podcast. But that's it for us. Thank you all so much. We'll be back with you next week with another new episode. And for those of you who like all the other stuff we talked about, Nerdy and Night on Monday. So we hope the closeout to your August is great. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time right here on TRB. See you around, kids.